The chamber of the Galactic Council was vast, its dome stretching like a glass ocean above the stars. Delegates from 100 worlds shimmered in their appointed seats, their voices echoing in layered tones through the air as they debated humanity's place in the order of things. For months, the Council had demanded submission from Earth, believing its small blue planet unworthy of equal standing among the old powers. They had summoned a single human envoy to deliver Earth's final acceptance of the Council's laws. The envoy entered quietly. No fanfare, no escort. Just the sound of measured steps. The chamber stilled. Even the air seemed to hesitate as the tall figure walked to the center dais where the Council's light burned blue and cold. The High Speaker, whose shimmering form floated above the circle, leaned forward. Representative of Earth, you stand before the united will of the galaxy. Will your people finally accept the terms of the accord and pledge your fleets to our service? The envoy stood still, eyes sweeping across the gathered faces, scaled, feathered, plated, luminous. Each delegate carried centuries of dominance, of inherited authority. For a long time, humanity had been absent from their politics, dismissed as a minor species with primitive aggression and short lives. Now the envoy's gaze burned with something ancient. Something patient. Before I answer, the envoy said evenly, I must ask, does the Council understand what it demands? The question rippled through the chamber. A few delegates murmured, their translators flashing. We demand only order, hissed a reptilian minister from the Eastern Arm. Your species' defiance endangers the stability of this galaxy. Another voice joined, deep and resonant. Your fleets expand without permission. Your colonies ignore the Accord's trade limits. You are a threat to harmony. The envoy nodded once. Then let us speak of harmony. He touched a small device at his wrist. A hologram unfolded in the center of the chamber, vast and detailed. A map of the Milky Way. Dozens of glowing lines marked human expansion. Outposts, mining belts, colonies, research stations. Many worlds shimmered with the pale blue of Terran influence. You say humanity spreads without permission, he said. But who gave the Council permission to claim this galaxy first? Was it born yours? Was it written in the stars that your empires would decide the limits of another's ambition? Silence. The Council's collective glare focused on him. The High Speaker's voice grew colder. You dare question the Council's right to preserve balance. You risk annihilation. The envoy's expression did not change. Balance cannot exist when it is enforced by chains. That sentence hung heavy, pressing against the silence. For a moment, the delegates saw more than a single envoy. They saw the reflection of an entire species behind those calm eyes. Billions who had clawed their way from extinction, who had built ships out of ruin and reached for the stars not because they were invited, but because they refused to die in the dark. The High Speaker tilted its form, projecting a dozen images above. Each showed the fleets of the Council. Vast formations of silver and crimson, worlds burning beneath them. Do you believe Earth can resist this? It said. The envoy looked up at the images, studying them as if judging the craftsmanship of a sculpture. Then he pressed the device again. The hologram changed. New fleets appeared, human fleets. Not shimmering silver, but dull gray metal. Functional, efficient, silent. Yet their arrangement across the map told a different story. They were everywhere. Hidden among trade routes, orbiting border systems, positioned in deep space far beyond any known patrol range. The murmuring returned, sharper now, uneasy. These are your warships, hissed one delegate. No, the envoy replied softly. These are our guardians. You see warships. We see home. The Council chamber brightened as more images filled the air. Human soldiers training in gravity domes. Orbital shipyards forging vessels the size of moons. AI command networks weaving through light years. The technological leap was undeniable. The last time the Council had surveyed Earth's power, humanity's fleets were primitive. Now they rivaled entire sectors. How? The High Speaker demanded. Your kind lacked the resources, the time, the knowledge. The envoy met its gaze. While the Council debated treaties and territory, humanity learned silence. We built while you watched each other. We prepared while you mocked us as children. A rustle passed through the chamber like wind through leaves. The envoy continued. When your fleets burned colonies on the frontier to make examples of us, we remembered. When your trade guilds strangled our worlds with tariffs, we remembered. When your envoys dismissed our ambassadors and called humanity unfit for diplomacy, we remembered, and now you ask us to kneel. The High Speaker's voice boomed through the hall. This is arrogance. No, the envoy said. This is consequence. For the first time, the council's calm facade cracked. Delegates turned to one another in rapid whispers. Data screens glowed. Communications flashed across the dome as emergency protocols initiated. They had expected surrender. Instead, they were staring into defiance wrapped in precision. The envoy stepped forward until his shadow stretched across the central light. The council has ruled this galaxy through fear. You call it peace. You destroy what you cannot control and enslave what you cannot destroy. But humanity will not be ruled. He paused, letting the words settle like thunder before a storm. You thought our wars against ourselves made us weak. You never understood. They made us ready. Images changed again, scenes of Earth's history. Cities rebuilt from ashes. Storms survived. Frontiers tamed. In every image, humanity's stubborn flame refused to die. The delegates watched, some in silence, some in disbelief, others in a quiet, growing dread. The High Speaker tried again. You speak of courage, but courage cannot shield you from annihilation. The Council's fleets could blot out your sun. The envoy finally smiled, small and grim. Then you will learn what happens when humans fight in the dark. The hologram flickered to a new image. Dozens of Council border stations, lifeless and drifting. Powerless, no explosions. No wreckage, just silence. These outposts lost contact 12 hours ago, the envoy said. Not destroyed. Not conquered, disabled. Their cores emptied of energy. No one killed. But every weapon useless. Every shield silent. A pulse of fear rippled through the chamber. The Council's tactical screens confirmed the reports. The envoy had not come to threaten. He had come after demonstrating capability. What have you done? The High Speaker demanded. Nothing irreversible, the envoy replied. Consider it proof. We could have erased them. We chose restraint. A deep chill spread among the gathered powers. Restraint was not something they expected from a species they had branded barbaric. The envoy straightened. The Council asked if we would serve. My answer is this. The time for war has come, but it is not war of conquest. It is a war to end the rule of fear. Gasps and shouts filled the chamber. A dozen security drones drifted closer, weapons locking onto the envoy. He did not move. The Council has forgotten why it was formed, he continued. Once it was meant to unite civilizations. Now it divides them. Once it sought peace, now it demands obedience. Humanity will not fight alone. The frontier worlds already rise behind us. The oppressed races of your own territories whisper in secret. They wait for someone to stand first. We will. The High Speaker's light flared brighter, blinding. You threaten galactic order. No, said the envoy. We restore it. He tapped the device once more. The hologram vanished, replaced by a single image. A human fleet in high orbit, its hulls gleaming with planetary light. Not a force of invasion, but a shield. Around them shimmered hundreds of smaller signatures. Vessels of other species, defectors, refugees, rebels. The beginning of something larger. The envoy's voice softened but carried to every corner of the chamber. We will not attack first. But if a single world of ours is touched, the Council will learn the meaning of total defense. Humanity does not start wars. Humanity ends them. One of the delegates, trembling, asked, You think your small species can stand against the galaxy? The envoy turned slightly. We do not think, we know. Because we have done it before. Against extinction. Against famine. Against our own worst selves. Every time we stood when logic said we should fall. He raised his hand. We are not asking permission to exist. We are informing you that we do. The words echoed, heavy and final. The High Speaker's form flickered, unstable. You would bring chaos. Freedom often looks like chaos to those who live by control, the envoy said quietly. With that, he turned and began to walk toward the exit. Security drones hovered uncertainly. No one ordered them to fire. The delegates simply watched, caught between outrage and awe. When the envoy reached the edge of the chamber, he paused and looked back. Tell your fleets to stand down. Tell your rulers to reconsider what peace means. Humanity will not destroy the Council unless the Council forces us to. Then he was gone. The chamber erupted into chaos. Delegates shouted across channels, arguing, calculating, panicking. Reports poured in. Systems malfunctioning near human borders. AI cores demanding access keys they did not possess. ships shutting down mid-flight. Humanity had woven threads into the galaxy's networks long before this meeting. They had come prepared. In the Council's command spire, the High Speaker watched the data cascade down. Every attempt to trace the interference ended in a looped message. It was simple, almost poetic. The Age O,